The Seattle Seahawks are your Super Bowl champions. The Super Bowl capped off a great season, a great year in picks as well for me. 23, 15, and 1 on the regular season, 8 and 5 now in the playoffs. I chose, and I capped it off with a winning Super Bowl pick as well. I chose the Seahawks minus 4.5 against these Patriots team, and they won pretty convincingly 29-13 Seahawks. Now, before we get into the actual Super Bowl game itself and a little bit on that, I was right in which the media was trying to make this game seem a lot more competitive as the week went on and into Super Bowl weekend. And it makes sense. You know, you're trying to build up for the game and make it seem really competitive and getting people to tune in. But if they played this game 10 times, 10 more times, the Seahawks, I think, would win 7 to 8 of those 10 games, I believe. There were a lot of things the Patriots needed to do right in this game and also have some errors on the Seahawks side of the ball. And this isn't a surprising result if we look at the defenses and look at the trajectory or the gauntlet that the Patriots played to get to this point. I mean, they played great defenses in the Chargers, the Texans, the Broncos to go against the Seahawks defense. It was brutal for them. They really struggled offensively, and Drake May did not have a great playoff performance this season. So it's a little bit something that we would expect Drake May to develop for next year and beyond. But in terms of the game itself, the refs actually did a great job officiating this game. We saw less of the refs, which is always good. The less you see of refs in games, the better. Not a lot of flags in that game. I think there was that one controversial call with the Cooper Cup catch or no catch, I believe. But other than that, nothing comes to mind in terms of any officiating errors or blunders here. So that's overall very good in the Super Bowl. And they, most importantly, and this is something that I really do enjoy when the refs allow the game to be played, is that they let the both teams be physical with their defenses. There were a lot of times where the refs could have been, I don't want to say petty, but could have been simple in the fact that throwing flags for maybe roughing the passer or things like that. But they just let the defenses play, and I thought that was awesome. That was on both sides. That is a football that I like to see. Let the defenses play, let the defenses be physical and match the offensive physicality that we usually see in the regular season. So that it was a great game to watch. In my opinion, I know people don't necessarily like to see low scoring games, but from a defensive point of view, it was quite entertaining to see what the Seahawks were able to do to the Patriots and also what the Patriots were able to do to the Seahawks. So it was a chess game there as well. On the Patriots side of the ball, offensively, Drake May was overwhelmed. And as I said in my New England Patriots Deserve Respect video or short, they're still a draft or two away from having a Super Bowl winning roster, really having that superstar studded roster that you need to solidify a great chance to win the Super Bowl. And they're just not there yet. So second year quarterback when Drake May, lots of room for growth, did not have a lot of playoff experience. So this is something that the Patriots would really learn from, especially Drake May, from this experience. Something that I am disappointed in and a little bit critical of is Josh McDaniels, the Patriots offensive coordinator. You had 2 weeks to prepare against the Seahawks team. You have a young quarterback, which that does not have much playoff experience, and you had issues with your left tackle all throughout the playoffs. With all these known variables, there was still a lack of creativity in the Super Bowl offensively, and it was a bit disappointing. We needed to see something, some shots that they should have taken, or something schematically that they should have done offensively to at least get the ball rolling, or at least try something to get this Seahawks defense, keep them on their toes and keep them guessing. We needed to see some at least screens or something like that, which I don't remember seeing. Reverse jet sweeps, I don't remember seeing any of those. Some trick plays. We needed something creatively to keep the defense guessing, and have something happen on the Patriots side of the ball offensively in order to win this game. They needed to do something to keep that Seahawks defense guessing, but it was very mundane, very one-dimensional. You could tell that when the run game was not working on the Patriots offensive side of the ball, their only answer to that was Drake May, and it should not have been that way. He is a young quarterback. Yes, he was second. He got second place or second in voting for MVP, but that doesn't matter. I mean, experience does matter in these playoffs in the NFL, and Drake May was just not ready for the moment. And I'm not necessarily putting anything on him. I mean, you got a light schedule, light regular season schedule, one of the easiest that a Super Bowl team has had. And in combination of that with a young quarterback and meeting these great defenses in the playoffs, you get a lot of challenges there. And that experience really helps quarterbacks get through those kind of tough teams and tough kind of gauntlet in the playoffs. So I was disappointed in Josh McDaniels and not being able to do something to take the weight off of Drake May's shoulders and put it more on the entire offense rather than just him, and just praying that that offensive line would hold up, which it was never going to hold up against that Seahawks defense. Josh McDaniels really in this game had a chance to cement himself as one of the greats or a great coach, that you kind of talk about with like a Belichick and things like that against this elite defense if they were able to pull it off. And we saw some offensive masterclass from the Patriots, but a bit disappointing from that side as well, at least in my opinion. Now, heading over to the Seahawks side of the ball, Seahawks on defense, they did bring some creativity. You compare that to the Patriots offense, which we did not see anything creative from that side of the ball. Defensively, we usually don't see a lot of creativity, especially in the Super Bowl, but we saw those blitzes from a corner in Witherspoon from the Seahawks that really brought that additional dimension to that game. And it was exciting to see just him blitzing there, that mismatch of his speed with those linemen. It was kind of crazy to see how he was able to get to the quarterback, I believe, every time he blitzed, which was crazy. And it was very entertaining from that perspective in terms of schematically and trying to keep the Patriots offense guessing to what the defense was going to do with those blitzes. And offensively, I mean, Sam Darnold knew his assignment. His assignment was to be a game manager, and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, when you have a great defense, you do not need to throw 300 yards in this game, 400 yards in this game. You just have to let the elite defense do the damage against that Patriots offense, and just do not cause turnovers on your side of the ball offensively, and just keep on chipping away in this game. And it pretty much went exactly how I predicted it. I predicted that this game would be a bit close halftime, but by the time it got to the fourth quarter, the Seahawks would be able to pull away, and that's exactly what happened just because of that defense that they had. And they just did some creative things offensively as well to get Barner, the tight end, a touchdown as well. Kenneth Walker, the third as well on the Seahawks offensively, was great to watch. I mean, we heard it on the broadcast as well, but we saw some Le'Veon Bell there. Great patience and vision from Kenneth Walker, just letting the blocks kind of develop, letting the holes kind of develop as well and be there. Once he saw that, he was off to the races. Also, it seemed like almost every other play he would bubble along or flow out to the outside as well. So we saw exceptional running back play from Kenneth Walker, and he is your Super Bowl MVP as well. So that was the Super Bowl. I mean, it was quite straightforward in expectations, in my opinion, and what the Seahawks were going to do, and that is how they won it. They just needed to not turn the ball over on offense, and they did not. And they just needed to rely on that great defense. Patriots were not able to do anything creatively offensively, which ultimately decided this game pretty swiftly, especially in that fourth quarter. So the Patriots, in terms of what's in store and what's next for them for this next season or for the off season, regardless of what happened in the Super Bowl, should be quite excited for the Patriots, especially if you are a Patriots fan. I know it sucks that you lost the Super Bowl, but you have your head coach for the future, you have a great culture, and you have your quarterback. I mean, those three things, that is what any team wants to have at any moment in time. And you have that with a first year head coach in Mike Rabel, at least for you with your franchise, and you have a second year quarterback in Drake May, very young. You'll only build that affinity through these next years, and the draft is your friend. You're going to be able to draft some key positions and key holes that they have, maybe that offensive line or some skill position players as well. And they had an amazing run with mostly new players on the team. If I recall, I think there were 30 players that they got from free agency for this season, which was the most out of any team. Let me know if I got that right or not, if you know that. But I believe they were the ones that swung big in free agency, and of course it did well, and they got all the way to the Super Bowl. And if the playoffs, I mean, they had such an amazing run that if the playoffs were replayed with the exact same teams and seedings, I think there's a good chance that there would be a chunk of the time that the Patriots would not have made it to the Super Bowl just because of the teams that they went through. I mean, if you think about the Chargers, I still think they would have beat the Chargers, but Texans, there had to be some combination of things there, and CJ Stroud having that horrendous game, and then you have the Broncos without Bo Nix. So a little bit of things that went the Patriots' way, but that's football, and that's what makes it exciting. And it was very exciting to see this fresh team with a new head coach, young quarterback, make it all the way to the Super Bowl and have kind of that small Cinderella story. I think they should be very excited, and they should be they have a solid foundation going forward. Now the Seahawks going forward and for the future should be one of the favorites heading into next season and next year. They are a young team. They have a lot of cap space as well. I know they need to extend some of their superstars with Witherspoon, and if they want to keep Kenneth Walker III, are they going to keep Kenneth Walker III? I think so, just because of Charbonnet's injury as well. I think they will pay him and keep him on that team, but they do have some flexibility as well. I think the biggest thing for the Seahawks really isn't roster dependent or roster kind of holes that they have. They're quite a complete team and very young. I think the biggest concern or thing to look out for this team for next season is how they're going to deal with Clint Kubiak heading out of the facility and going over to Las Vegas to be head coach for the Raiders, and how they're going to be able to replace that offensive coordinator position. And let's see how Sam Darnold and team does next year offensively. There may be a little bit of a learning, a rebuilding there that they have to do, at least for the first part of the season next year or next season. But I still think they should be one of the favorites heading into next year, just because that defense is incredible. And, you know, Mike McDonald isn't going anywhere. He's an incredible head coach for the Seahawks, so, and defensive minded as well. So that side of the ball, I think, should be incredible next year as well. And you should be very excited if you are a Seahawks fan heading into next year as well, and feel very good about this. So let me know what you thought about the Super Bowl. I gave my thoughts on what happened there, and I will see you for a little bit of these stories in the off season, and see you next year for the picks as well.